Have you ever questioned, why are we here? What holds human souls captive on Earth? In this video, we'll reveal a stunning secret about the origins of our world, a truth suppressed by the Church for hundreds of years. This isn't merely a tale about God, it's about control and invisible plots that bind our souls. Click subscribe to stay updated with shocking mysteries and hidden wisdom, essential for your awakening. From the very moment a soul enters this world, it is stripped of its awareness of its true essence and origin, as though quietly taken away. This isn't just a theoretical topic in philosophy, it's a deep truth that shapes how people view themselves and their purpose in life. As described in the ancient script, On the Origin of the World, this obscurity wasn't accidental, but was orchestrated by the Demiurge, a flawed, ambitious deity credited with creating the material realm. Acting as the architect of the finite world, the Demiurge designed this realm as a trap to keep souls locked in ignorance and subservience, away from true wisdom. Instead of a kind creator, the Demiurge is more like a hidden jailer, determined to obscure the soul's origin and make the path to liberation extraordinarily difficult. The Demiurge, a cosmic thief, didn't just build the material world to confine souls, but erased divine memories, stealing the awareness of our true nature and replacing it with fear and insatiable desires focused on the physical plane. In Gnostic belief, entering the world causes the soul to lose its profound knowledge, or Gnosis, of the divine realm it originated from. The word Gnosis comes from Greek, meaning knowledge or awareness. Within Gnostic thought, Gnosis refers not to ordinary knowledge, but to a deep, direct comprehension of divinity, universal truths, or the sacred nature of existence. Such knowledge surpasses typical logic or reasoning and is rooted in personal experience, achieved through enlightenment, self-exploration, or spiritual union with the soul's divine origin. In Gnostic teachings, Gnosis is considered the path to freeing the soul from the material world, which is seen as disconnected from divine essence. Without it, humans remain lost souls, endlessly trying to fill a mysterious void they cannot explain. All the goals we chase, from wealth to fame, are illusions that trap the soul in an unending search for meaning in things that cannot truly satisfy. Gnostics ask, why does fulfillment never last long? Why do we feel an undefined emptiness even after reaching our ambitions? This is due to the soul's intrinsic yearning for higher knowledge, which has been obscured for ages. Worse still, the Demiurge gave us physical bodies, an intricate but deceptive construct, chaining the soul to sensations and desires such as hunger, thirst, pain, and lust. These unseen chains keep drawing us back to our physical form, distracting us from enlightenment and preventing us from returning to our divine source. How much of our lives do we actually dedicate to spiritual growth when most of it is spent meeting bodily needs? According to Gnostics, the body is no accident, but a deliberate tool to keep us separated from our origin. Yet, despite its somber tone, Gnosticism does not entirely lack hope. It offers a solution, Gnosis, knowledge from within. This is not knowledge learned from texts, mystical guides, or secret ancient writings. Gnosis represents the direct realization of sacred truth, long obscured, a recollection, a profound self-awareness that transcends illusions and escapes the control of the Demiurge. Within Gnostic philosophy, Gnosis is the key to liberation, suppressed for centuries. Texts like On the Origin of the World were deemed heretical and excluded from orthodox teachings for portraying the world as a material prison for the soul, with the body as its shackles. Such revelations challenge the authority of powers profiting from humanity's ignorance. Gnostic texts present a transformative view of God, humanity, and the soul's purpose, reshaping perceptions of the world. Embracing these ideas would weaken the authority of religious institutions that promote dependency on rituals and doctrines. The material world, according to Gnostic belief, was not created by a perfect divine being, but by the Demiurge, to sever the soul from truth. Public awareness of this could dismantle the Church's salvation framework. Gnostic scriptures claim that every individual can access the divine directly through inner wisdom, or Gnosis, a threat to religious bodies advocating salvation through submission and mediators. To preserve their power, churches actively suppressed these writings, labeling their adherents heretics. This intentional effort monopolized sacred narratives, reinforcing a structure where humanity must obey an almighty God. Any ideology advocating spiritual independence or awakening outside organized religion faced eradication. The suppression of Gnostic teachings was a calculated strategy to dominate spiritual knowledge. Convincing people that salvation relies solely on external forces fosters fear and blind allegiance, making them easily controlled. This extends beyond theology to the core mechanics of power. These suppressed teachings were dangerous, not because they were untrue, but because they inspired empowerment, asserting divinity as an inherent right of all individuals, not exclusive to clergy. Let's explore the idea of the sacred trap, a provocative view of the world. Gnostic texts suggest that the material world is not a paradise, but a prison created by the Demiurge to entangle souls in an endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, preventing them from realizing their divine essence. What we chase, wealth, relationships, and purpose, are mere distractions, designed to bind us and make us forget the shackles of our souls. This trap is not physical, but manifests as a struggle between the body and its needs, like hunger, pain, and pleasure, anchoring us to the material world. Within this infinite cycle, we are conditioned to seek fulfillment in a world incapable of providing it. Gnostics see this as a grand deception, diverting the soul from connecting with its inner divine spark. Every aspect, from bodily desires to societal norms, reinforces this system, instilling the belief that true satisfaction is always unattainable. Realizing our true nature is the only way to break free. To Gnostics, the Demiurge is not a benevolent deity, but a flawed being driven by ego and a need for power and domination. Instead of an all-knowing creator, the Demiurge is a deceptive force demanding worship to bind souls to the material world, hindering enlightenment and genuine freedom. Gnostic teachings claim that the Demiurge possesses the power to create the material universe, but lacks the compassion and wisdom to govern it positively, making it arrogant, blind, and entirely convinced of its supremacy as the sole creator. The Demiurge is aided by archons, cosmic administrators who maintain this system, upholding the material world's order without enlightening humanity. These archons thrive in chaos, fear, and ignorance, working to keep souls unaware of their divine origin and ensuring perpetual spiritual enslavement in the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The Demiurge enforces its rule by limiting human perception, presenting the material world as the sole reality. By intertwining religious teachings, social constructs, and daily distractions, it ensures humanity rarely questions the nature of existence. From the moment we are born, we are guided to prioritize material success and survival, creating a spiritual prison that confines us to a narrow existence where the soul never awakens to its divine nature or freedom beyond material boundaries. Gnostics view the Demiurge not as the true creator, but as a deceiver who fabricates a restrictive reality and enforces control through unquestioning submission. Humanity's worship of the architect of its spiritual confinement is seen as the ultimate betrayal. This awareness fosters awakening, leading us to realize that liberation lies in dismantling the boundaries set by the Demiurge. The material world, according to Gnostics, was constructed to obstruct access to profound truths. Daily experiences, from aspirations to pleasures and pains, are layers of illusion, trapping us in cycles of superficial pursuits. True awakening happens when we grasp that the tangible world is but a facade, while truth resides in a higher, unbound reality. Gnostic scriptures describe the illusions of the Demiurge and the archons as a layered disguise, entrapping us in a spiritual jail. Through bodily sensations, desires, and fears, we are anchored to material existence, which limits our capacity to explore our divine origins. From birth, we are shaped by external factors, names, social status, family, and culture, that construct egos prone to seeking fame, wealth, and societal approval. Such attachments prevent us from turning inward to discover our true nature. The Demiurge's trap lies in our endless pursuit of external happiness and validation. Every achievement breeds new desires, distancing us further from our authentic being. For Gnostics, suffering is not a spiritual challenge, but a mechanism to keep us trapped in the cycles of life, death, and rebirth, away from the inner divine light. Every forward step tightens our reliance on the impermanent, while the true essence lies in the eternal and indestructible self. Suffering is woven into the fabric of material illusion, diverting our focus to external troubles and away from higher realities. Instead of recognizing suffering as a wake-up call, we become consumed by it, identifying with pain and losing sight of our sacred essence. Gnostics regard this as the Demiurge's calculated plan. Suffering binds the soul to the cyclical process of birth, death, and rebirth. Suffering, in this context, extends beyond individual emotion. It is part of a control system devised by the archons and Demiurge to dominate the mind. Fear, ambition, and other negative emotions are implanted to foster disorder, keeping us disconnected from our true potential. Only by acknowledging suffering as a construct of illusion can we pursue true spiritual awakening, rather than fleeting forms of liberation. Under the influence of anxiety and material cravings, we become ensnared in fleeting needs that obstruct our spiritual awakening. Gnostics suggest that freeing ourselves from the illusions of the Demiurge and archons requires introspection and the pursuit of Gnosis, self-knowledge through intuition and personal experience, to reconnect with the divine light within. In Gnostic understanding, archons are not physical beings, but unseen forces controlling human minds and emotions, perpetuating the illusion created by the Demiurge. They manipulate through fear, ambition, and insecurity, drawing attention to materialism and attachments to societal, familial, and cultural constructs. Acting as enforcers, archons maintain control, preventing individuals from recognizing their true selves. Liberation from their grip demands awakening, transcending transient identities, and rediscovering the divine spark within. Beyond maintaining material order, the archons influence human thoughts and feelings. Through societal standards and psychological manipulation, they incite internal conflicts, unquenchable desires and fears, leading us to seek external validation rather than spiritual awakening. Archons function across all levels of existence, constantly influencing human actions and thoughts, trapping us in the endless cycle of reincarnation and denying access to our divine essence. The negative emotions they cultivate serve as an energy source, bolstering their power. By leveraging media and social unrest, they foster environments filled with tension and distress, forcing individuals into fragmented social realities. Greater suffering leads to increased dependence on wealth, status, and external approval, mistakenly viewed as sources of peace. Gnostics urge us to transform negative energy into awareness. Through awakening, we can break free from the Archon's grip, expand our consciousness, and achieve a higher unity. Archons feed on our negative emotions, converting personal turmoil into resources that sustain cycles of distress and distraction. Their control extends to societal, cultural, and political realms, as well as powerful institutions like governments and religions, which enforce submission through systems of rewards and punishments. These systems, according to Gnostic teachings, aim not to unify, but to instill fear, keeping humanity disconnected from its inner freedom and divinity. While this depiction might resemble dystopian fiction, it mirrors the reality of a world preoccupied with materialism, entertainment, and competition. The presence of archons is evident within our power structures, no longer merely a mythical concept. Their cleverness lies in programming us to chase superficial goals and external values, making self-inquiry into our true essence feel out of reach. This system becomes so ingrained and accepted that few realize our beliefs and values are deliberately shaped to ensure dependency. The archons are seen as invisible manipulators, crafting a mental maze that keeps humans endlessly pursuing illusions. According to Gnostic thought, breaking free from this cycle and realizing our divine essence is humanity's ultimate purpose. Gnostics believe that Gnosis, true knowledge, is the only force capable of diminishing the power of the archons. This Gnosis goes beyond theoretical knowledge. It is a profound, wordless realization that arises from within. Gnosis allows one to see beyond illusions, akin to awakening from a dream, where the material world and ego dissolve, revealing a higher spiritual reality. Gnostics describe this as a recollection, a moment when the soul recognizes the divine spark obscured by worldly distractions. While there is no single path to achieving Gnosis, some encounter it through deep contemplation, while others through life-altering experiences. Since Gnosis requires no institutions or intermediaries, it threatens systems of control. This knowledge empowers individuals, freeing them from external dependencies. Gnostic writings advocate practices like meditation, self-reflection, and questioning the nature of reality to attain awakening, stripping away layers of illusion imposed by society. Unlike conventional religions, Gnosticism focuses on liberating the mind and freeing individuals from the mental prison created by the archons. For Gnostics, challenging established beliefs, including the duality of good and evil, is essential. A central symbol in their teachings is the divine spark within each person, an indestructible link to the divine source. Hidden by the illusions of the material world, this divine spark can only be revealed when one looks inward and discovers their true divine nature. Through Gnosis, individuals break free from the control of the archons and the Demiurge, embarking on a journey of enlightenment and liberation. Gnosis is an inner understanding, not something taught externally. It is a personal journey requiring deep self-awareness. Gnostics emphasize that awakening does not mean rejecting the material world, but seeing its impermanent and deceptive nature. They imagine a world where people recognize the illusions constructed by the Demiurge and understand their divine origin. This collective awakening would dismantle the Archon's influence and create a reality founded on truth. Seeking Gnosis is a spiritual rebellion against systems that confine and restrict awareness. It enables individuals to seek answers within, recognize their freedom, and deepen their connection to the cosmos. The answers are not distant. They already exist within, awaiting illumination. With these insights, we complete our journey into Gnosticism and the transformative power of Gnosis. Thank you for accompanying me on this exploration of such a profound and challenging worldview, confronting questions we've often been taught to avoid. Always remember, true freedom begins with self-knowledge. So, keep questioning, keep exploring, and who knows, you might begin to see the world differently. Thank you again for sharing this journey with me. I hope to join you in future explorations where we'll continue to uncover hidden truths.